I'm Jim Sciutto. Wolf Blitzer is off today. You're in the Situation Room. Now to a family feud in one of America's best-known political families. Former Vice President Dick Cheney and his wife are weighing in on that very public spat between their daughters over same-sex marriage. It started when daughter Liz, who's running for the Senate, said she supports the traditional definition of marriage, even though her sister Mary is in a same-sex marriage.
I love Mary very much. I love her family very much. This is just an issue on which we disagree.
That led to a heated response on Facebook from both Mary and her spouse. It all got very personal. Joining me now, CNN political analyst Gloria Borger, chief political analyst David Frum, political commentator, also contributing editor for Daily Beast, and Peggy Nance, the CEO of Concerned Women for America. Thanks very much for joining us here. Gloria, how did we get here? This is a political family. Why didn't they work this out before they started?
That's a really interesting question, but family dynamics, as we all know, are a very tricky thing, even in politics. Look, Liz Cheney is running as an ultra-conservative in the state of Wyoming. That's a good thing to be when you're a Republican. For some Republicans, she's not to the right enough on the issue of gay marriage. As she said on Fox News on Sunday, she said, look, I don't support gay marriage, but I believe it's an issue that should be left to the states. That is what her father said, going back as far as the year 2000. But after she said that, for some reason, the Facebook messages started flying. Her sister's spouse called her view offensive. Then her sister got on and said, on Facebook and said, you know, my sister's on the wrong side of history. Then the parents, you know this, if you have children, tried to break up the fight. So it's kind of a mess. Yeah,
politics and sibling rivalry. Yeah. You don't want to get that started. Let me read a statement from Dick Cheney today, Dick and Lynn Cheney today, because they weighed in. And it seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that he was coming in a little bit on Liz's side. Yeah. Liz has always treated her sister and her sister's family with love and respect, exactly as she should have done. Compassion is called for, even when there is a disagreement about such a fundamental matter. And Liz's many kindnesses should not be used to distort her position. Is he taking sides here?
Yeah. Well, I think this is indicative of an argument that's going on across America. We're getting ready to sit down at Thanksgiving tables, and there's division within families, neighborhoods, Capitol Hill, you name it, on the issue of legalization of same-sex marriage. We know that, you know, the polls show a split within the country, and yeah, they love Liz, and I'm sure the sisters, they love each other. They need to learn to speak respectfully to each other as we do when we talk about this issue. This is a very important issue. We need to be able to talk about it with each other respectfully, and both sides agree that we each have a voice in this issue, that it's okay to disagree. It doesn't make you a bigot. It doesn't make you mean, that your faith dictates that marriage is traditional marriage and not same-sex marriage.
You mentioned a disagreement. There's a disagreement within the Republican Party. David, you've written that you were wrong on this issue, and you've come around to support it.
Yeah. Well, look, the way opinions change is exactly the way opinions are moving within the Cheney family, through conversations one-on-one, through intense...
Or through Facebook.
Well, but that's the part of it. That is the part of this that makes you feel kind of bad about this. Like, I don't like being inside the Cheney family's internal discussions, and all families, including former vice presidents of the United States and their kin, are entitled to work things out privately. So it's odd being on television talking about this. However, here we are on television talking about it. I think one of the things that is back of all of this is whether Liz is sincere or whether she is making an estimate about Wyoming. I think she's wrong about the politics. That if she is going to present herself as a new kind of Republican and challenge an established incumbent, that she needs to look at where Republicans under 50 are on this issue.
Well, that's what her sister said. Her sister said exactly the same thing about it.
That's not the case at all. The stats in Wyoming are very different.
Republicans over 50 already have a perfectly satisfactory representative in Mike Enzi. So if you're going to replace Mike Enzi, who's been effective...
Not a fighter. Who plays to the middle, and Liz Cheney has strong opinions on defense, has strong opinions on life, and is able
then she can't complain, and she has such strong opinions that when she meets resistance to them,
here's what's going on in the state of Wyoming. You want to talk about, she wants to win this race, and don't forget she's in a primary. It's a year from now, a long way. But there is a conservative PAC, outside money, running ads, and I want to play, can we just play a little clip of it for a second about this ad? You'll see what she's up against.
I applaud, for example, the State Department decision to extend benefits to same-sex partners around the world.
Liz Cheney, wrong for Wyoming.
Here you
she's
are.
up against.
And so that's clearly what she's reacting
You don't think
against.
they cooked this up, though, right? You're not suggesting that this was, you know, the family trying to help her out to make her look more conservative, are you?
Could be. Anything
Come
happens
on.
in politics.
I don't believe that. I think she was asked about this, and she gave her opinion, and then she was slapped down for it.
I don't know the answer
Which
to
was
that
very
question.
disrespectful to her.
You know, you said something that was very important. It's one of the theory of the race, the Cheney theory, that is why do you need to replace Mike Enzi? And the answer is because Liz Cheney is a much more combative personality. Now, leave aside whether we need more of that. Well, no, Enzi's very conservative. The point is, as you just said, is that she's much more aggressive and confrontational than he is. Now, leave aside the question of whether or not we need more of that in Washington. I don't think we do, but leave that aside. The point is, you start confrontations, people are going to confront you back, and this is a little taste of what this kind of rough method, right? You invoked a very gentle mode of discussion, and I think that's appropriate, but that is not. But
you know, she started this discussion. They asked her on Fox News her opinion, and she gave it in a winsome, kind, loving way. And then somehow, because she said it, she was the villain, and they publicly beat her up for it. I think that was disloyal and unkind.
You mean her sister did?
Her sister and her sister
partner did. Well, it was also, there was an interesting dig that Heather Poe, her sister's spouse, took at her, which said, I can't help but wonder how Liz would feel if, as she moved from state to state, she discovered her family wasn't protected because they call her a carpetbagger.
You have the local race there, but you also have the debate within the Republican Party, the larger issue of how does a big tent Republican Party appeal to a broader swath of Americans in 2014 and, of course, in 2016.
I was in a discussion shortly after the 2012 election, and I was asked, you know, what's your view on what Republicans need to do first? And my answer was insult fewer people next time. And I think that a big tent party, you try to add votes. You don't start saying, these are the votes we don't want. You say, these are the votes we do want that we might try to get. And one of the questions that Republicans have is, as a party of enterprise, how is it that if you have a partner in an accounting firm or somebody who runs a business, and because they live in a different way, you say, we're not interested in your support, or we're not going to make it easy for you to join us. Conservative parties throughout the world, Germany, Canada, Britain, Australia, which are successful, have included these issues in their...
So Penny, I'm going to give you the final word. Can the party be a Big Tent party?
I would say there are issues that demand an answer. The majority of people still support traditional marriage. In the Republican Party, the majority of primary voters do. And whether it's life, whether it's marriage, these are issues that deal with faith and deal with morality, and we have a right to have an opinion.
But the party has changed, because it used to be you had to support a constitutional amendment.
We're going to have to leave it. We'll have to leave it there. Fantastic discussion, though. Thank you very much. Penny, Nance, David Frum, Gloria Borger, glad to be a part of it. Coming up next, medical